No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Today, I'm pretty excited to have one of the foremost gamers in the YouTube community, somebody who I've been subscribed to for a while now, Nadeshot on the fucking podcast. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing pretty well, man. You just jumped straight into that. I was on my phone and everything, waiting for like a 3, 2, 1. What's going on?
This is just a casual conversation. You know, we just chat shit. We just talk about stuff in here. So
no, I love it. Like that's the best way to do a podcast. And I've been actually like wanting to do my own podcast for a very long time.
That's a good idea.
Because I think just actual conversation is like super underrated nowadays.
Right, and you get to communicate with your audience so much through vlogging, but it's a very different type of conversation, don't you think?
Yeah, for me, like vlogging is like more of it's more of like a storyboard. Like I have like I kind of compare it to like an essay. You know, like you have like the intro, the body paragraphs, and the outro.
Right.
That's kind of like how I've structured my vlogging, and so podcasts are just it's so laid back and it's just so casual. It's just fun to get more insight on like your favorite rappers and everything that you've been doing with it is dope.
I appreciate that. It was crazy seeing H3 do the transition from being like a vlogger to a podcaster now and having crazy success. Like 1 million views on a podcast is pretty unbelievable for him.
Yeah, I actually haven't paid too much attention to that. I kind of stay in my own lane and my own like core the people that I watch, like who I subscribe to.
Right.
Joe Rogan is a podcast that I have like
Love Joe Rogan. He was my inspiration
for.
to start this shit.
Yeah, dude. I had no idea. Like growing up, I would watch
Fear Factor.
I had no idea that he was such a smart guy.
Right.
And then transitioning to UFC, it's just been really cool to see him develop his career.
Yeah, but that's what I think is really cool is that there is a big opportunity, I think, for YouTubers with followings to like branch out into the podcast thing and present themselves in a totally different way. And it's cool because like, so I started out doing the podcast and then I realized like people want me on a more consistent basis and vlogging type stuff is a lot easier way to give them that. Whereas the podcasts where they were doing well, but you know, if I have a rapper that nobody's heard of on the podcast or that a lot of my fans haven't heard on, they're not necessarily interested. So I think that they really like when it's kind of supplemented with the vlogging stuff that's more personal.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Give me like a 30-second rundown, like synopsis of where you started and how you got to doing YouTube and podcasts. Because I think I need a quick history lesson.
Okay, so basically like 10, 11 years ago, I started a BMX blog, the first like BMX website that was like really posting news and videos and stuff like that. Did that for like 10 years, and then that slowly sort of transitioned into me doing BMX podcasts and vlogs and, you know, videos about the BMX scene, just going out and riding with people. And then that was doing real well, and I just kind of haphazardly got an interview with this dude, Xavier Wolf, who's like one of the biggest underground rappers in LA. And then that sort of just opened a bunch of doors for me to get bigger and bigger podcasts in the fashion and rap world. And then slowly it just kind of snowballed to the point where I'm getting to interview young Nade.
Okay, cool. You just schooled me. No, I respect it, man. It sounds like you've just been hustling for a really long time.
Yeah, just trying to make it happen. You know, it's like it's been a wild ride. Let's just say
you're
that.
your own boss, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing you can ask for.
You too, though. That's like that's probably something that you aspired for a long time in your life. Did you always see yourself as that kind of person who would want to sort of blaze their own trail and be in charge of their own situation?
You know what? I mean, I told this story a lot, like when I was coming up on YouTube, because like conversations for me, like how I started off, I began with gaming commentaries, like over Call of Duty.
That was how you started on YouTube?
Yeah, I started on YouTube, so I was a competitive player first on Call of Duty.
That was first, okay.
I was a competitive player first, and then I transitioned into YouTube. So for me, telling stories about like growing up and just being more like, I never really saw it as like building a brand and like being relatable. It was just what I was going through at the time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it was, but when I was younger, my grandpa, like he grew up in Bridgeport, which is in Chicago, by like Comiskey Park, where the White Sox play.
Shout out Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago for real. I mean, I'm not personally from the city. Like he moved out of the city, had a family, and I grew up in the suburbs my whole life. But I just say Chicago because it's easier.
I feel you. I grew up like a half hour outside Boston, so I feel you.
Yeah, so it's just been that like, okay, yeah. But he would always just tell me stories about him hustling, trying to make some money because he was like 14 years old, working at his mom's pub, and he was running it at that age. And I don't know what it was about those stories, if they just kind of like sat with me really well when I was younger, but I just always felt like I was going to do something. Like I didn't know what it was going to be. And then I just happened to stumble upon gaming, and then that, like the rest is history. That's where it all just began for me.
So What was your first memories of touching a video game? Was it super young?
Yeah, I think my first memories was like playing Galaga with my dad and my brother. Yeah,
I would think that you were going to start with something a little bit more advanced. That's real old school.
Yeah, no, playing Galaga and Paperboy on like the original Nintendo. I mean, we didn't have like the most money growing up, so like the only time I would go, like we had like a Super Nintendo, I think, and a Nintendo. And then my grandparents, who I spent a lot of my time with when I was younger, they had like the N64, so I'd go over there and get my fixing on that, like as I got older. But that was like the beginning for me at Galaga.
Did you feel like you had like the kind of addictive personality that is sort of required for you to become really good at video games? Were you that guy immediately? Were you just slaving away in front of it?
You know what it was? It was my older brother. He was 2 years older than me, and even like playing with my dad, I'm just like a naturally competitive person, and so like I think it was just it's just like a natural outlet for me to kind of express my competitiveness. So like I always just want to be better than my brother because that's who I looked up to growing up, and I just wanted to be better than him at something because, you know, I got like the exact opposite genes. Like my brother is 6'2", built really well, and like growing up, like I had to go to an endocrinologist and get testosterone shots because I wasn't growing at the right rate.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah, I was just always like a smaller guy. So I like my mom wouldn't let me go play football. Like I played baseball and basketball and golf growing up. Like I was an active dude, but video games were just like my vice, you know, to make it happen for me.
But so were you usually attracted to games that were more competitive? Were you not like an RPG guy because you wanted to go head to head against somebody?
No, for me, it was actually, I think like my first true addiction was like Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue.
Okay.
Because I collected the cards and watched the show. And those are like my earliest memories of just being completely enamored with like a video game. You know, my brother had Blue, I had Red. We played the hell out of that, and I think that's kind of what sparked everything. From there, you know, we were going to the Madden midnight releases. Like I remember specifically like Madden 2004 with Michael Vick on the cover. We brought it home. I beat my brother like with a field goal in the last seconds, and it's just like it's always those like small, you know, traces of memories that I have that kind of that I give credit to the fuel of the fire, like to be like a competitive gamer.
Right, because when you're a kid, you're really just looking for any sort of like positive affirmation, anything that you could feel like you're skilled in, and it's especially for somebody that's not like necessarily gifted physically, like you know, football or baseball. That's like a pretty obvious thing for a kid to go into to prove himself. But finding that through like something that it was not as accepted at the time. Now, if you're like, yeah, I want to be a professional gamer, there's a protocol for that. People understand to an extent.
Honestly, it is. Like, it never used to be like that either. I would never even talk about gaming to anybody asked that what I do.
Right.
Because I feel like, you know, 5 years ago, like, oh, I get paid to play video games. Like, that was just something that somebody would say. And if I were the person listening to that, I was like, all right, bullshit, you know.
Right.
It's just some kid who's just telling me a story. But now it just seems like it's widely accepted, like in mainstream media and just mainstream in general. So you can easily say it, and obviously there's not always going to be somebody to fact check what you're saying. But yeah, I think it's more accepted for sure.
So you were going to tournaments and stuff before you even understood the whole concept of like making a living from Call of Duty, or?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, like I talk about like, you know, Paperboy and Galaga and Madden and all these games that I played when I was growing up. But what really sparked it all was Halo. Okay. I went over to my friend's house. He had Halo 2. I sucked at it. And so like, I was just like, oh my God, I'm in space shooting a gun, Master Chief. Like, it was incredible. So for me, I begged my mom and dad to let me get an Xbox because I was like a PlayStation kid back then. Like I said, you know, my dad and mom worked really, really hard, but we didn't have like money to blow. So like spending $150, $200, however much the Xbox cost wasn't easy. So my birthday was coming around, and they said that if I could find an Xbox on eBay for a good price, I was 12 years old on eBay trying to make something happen. I buy an Xbox, it gets there, and it doesn't have a disk drive. And so like one of my fondest memories of my mom was on my 13th birthday. I was super bummed, just, you know, pouting because I didn't have the Xbox. It was just really crappy situation from what I remember. And then I go outside to help him with the groceries, and inside the trunk is a brand new Xbox with a Halo 2. And that was really like the beginning. That's what like set it off. So I went to Halo after a couple years just playing that, thinking I was really good. I played Gears of War, and that was actually the first game that I went to a tournament, MLG Chicago 2007. Got my parents allowed me to skip school, did that whole thing, and then eventually ended up on Call of Duty.
Right. So were there any other games along the way that you got like seriously invested into? Were there any other paths that you went down of just really having that obsessive personality about, or was Call of Duty the first one you got crazy with?
I think it was honestly the big three for me were Halo, Gears of War, and Call of Duty. I think I spent like a fair amount of time on all of them in my teenage years and like high school and stuff, and while I was working and everything. So I have a pretty addictive personality. Like it's funny that you said that, because it's like the nail on the head with my personalities. Once I get fixated on something, like I have to do it the right way and be the best at it, and that's just always how I've been. And so I just naturally ended up on Call of Duty because I think that's where I made the most waves. Like
right.
I was just I had the edge on a lot more people than I did on Halo and Gears of War. And it was just more fun for me after a while.
Yeah, I think an addictive personality is kind of a requirement for something like gaming, where it's like bare minimum at the bare minimum you have to be willing to put in an amount of hours that the average person would feel was completely absurd and would make you a total social recluse.
Do you play any video games?
I am an obsessive Tetris player.
Tetris? Okay. No, I respect it. You and my grandma would get along.
Really? I'll probably beat her ass. I'm really good.
Oh, I don't know, bro. She would sit all day on N64 and play Dr. Mario World.
I love Dr. Mario. God.
And she was so good at it. I'm
right.
like, how do you even know what you're doing?
There's a certain space that like if I'm listening to a podcast, I will listen to a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast and be playing Tetris for like 2 hours out of it, because somehow that occupies a part of my brain, like my compulsiveness and my desire to be doing something manual with my hands at all times, and then it allows like the other part of my brain to, I think, absorb better what is being said.
See, I know exactly what you're saying. It's almost like it like massages like your soul. That's not a mad weird, but I'm trying to think of like a good way to describe it.
Because if it wasn't for the Tetris, there would be a desire for me to grab my phone, start looking at Instagram, look at Twitter.
Oh, dude, it's deadly.
It's something about when you're doing that thing that you already know really well. Because I've been playing Tetris like obsessively since I was a little kid, and I'll go a couple of years not playing it, but then I'll just get back into it.
I hear you. I'm honestly, I know exactly what you're saying, and I think a lot of people at home probably will too.
I grew up with a really, really bad Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat addiction too. Okay. That was the toughest one for me.
I never really got into fighters. I thought it was just too. It wasn't. I don't think dynamic's the word. It was like too one-dimensional in terms of what you could do.
Literally, it's 2-dimensional versus Halo and Counter-Strike, which are 3-dimensional. There's a certain. I think if you started gaming in a 3D world, the 2D world probably seems a little strange.
Yeah, I think there just wasn't enough creativity and the ability of freedom and the ability to roam for me, that it's just like head on, go after each other, and then the winner it takes all. So that just wasn't the game for me.
My days in the shooter world were like Wolfenstein and Quake and shit.
Yeah, see, a little before my time.
There's a guy who hangs out at the Starbucks on 6th and Spring, and he just sits there and plays Wolfenstein. And sometimes I'll be like going through the line, and I'll see like the portraits of Hitler and the swastikas everywhere, and I'm just like, this seems kind of strange.
He just sits at Starbucks and plays Wolfenstein?
I guess he doesn't have anywhere else that he can sit there and play, but it's pretty
That's
weird.
incredible.
See somebody play a game from the 90s.
Bro, that's awesome. Like,
that is cool.
You should go have a conversation with him.
I'm like, do you really hate Nazis that much that you've just been living this out for all these years?
For real. See, I never even knew, like, the internet gets really excited when, like, retro games get remastered and brought back. So, like, I know there was a lot of hype behind Wolfenstein and all these other games. And I know, like, Doom had a release and Quake had a release, but, like, it just was before my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
that's why I can't listen to like Run DMC.
Yeah,
you know,
oh, dude,
it's like a technology-based thing.
I know exactly what you're saying. Like, because I'm a really big hip hop guy.
Right, we definitely got to talk about that too.
Yeah, no, for sure. But see, it's like I've had a conversation with Logic and a couple of his homies, and I think his DJ Rhetoric, he brought it up the best. Like, that's just not how he came into hip hop.
Right.
So like, I guess it's on him for not, seeking out the older stuff. But, like, for me, I was growing up watching hip-hop jams on MTV Jams.
Right.
And, like, watching Nelly and Chingy and all these other rappers, 50 Cent and Eminem, like, early 2000s. And that's just how I came into hip-hop. So,
yeah. I have a theory that, like, video games and rap music are very similar because they're very technology-based in the sense that, like, if you were to look at a game or a rap song and then 2 years later you look back at it and it's so clearly dated for that time period. Like the beat sounds a different way, that it's beats 2 years later aren't going to sound the same way. They're constantly in the state of development. Whereas with certain other art forms, like say classic rock, you listen to a classic rock song from the 70s and you listen to a rock song from the 90s, there's not this huge gulf between them stylistically because they're classic per se. And I just think that there's a certain thing about that. Like I grew up, the first rap I got into was like Snoop Dogg in 92.
Okay.
And I really feel like everything before that doesn't make anywhere near as much sense to me.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that mindset. I've actually been going back and listening to a lot of Dr. Dre and Snoop back in the day, but even then, like I was listening to Dr. Dre in the gym last night, just listening to albums that I've never heard, and I was vibing with it, but I always find myself just putting on just like new music. For me, it was always. When I was in high school and when I was like a freshman in college, I was really heavy into finding new music. So I was on Dat Piff every single day, just listening to new mixtapes, finding new artists, like hot new hip hop every single day. But I think as I got older and as I got busier, I just ended up going back to like classics that I really, really enjoyed and that resonated with me. So I'd be, I understand like the stigma that comes with like being a fan of mainstream rap and hip hop, but that's just the music that I enjoy. You know
I feel like mainstream rap these days is quite often like the best rappers, the guys who are putting out the best stuff, just because it's not like the labels are stupid. The labels are looking at the underground and trying to figure out what they can help prop up. That's their whole business model these days, It's
just like the internet is so brutal when it comes to opinions. I probably was the same way when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, like I've just tried to accept everybody's opinions for what it is and respect that opinion because everyone's different. It's everything. A lot of things in life, most things in life are subjective.
Right.
So like what you like isn't going to be the same thing that I like, but I'm not going to hate you because you like something that I don't.
Yeah, that's a very like teenage mentality.
Yeah, it's just a very like it's just like very argumentative, and it just it irks me like down to my soul. But I was the same way growing up too.
I hated like Sega. I was such a hardcore Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
I hated Sega.
You have the same thing. You have like the PlayStation, Xbox debate. I'm like, what are we really arguing about? You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I understand the mindset. But that's why like I tend to keep a lot of my opinions away from the internet, like for the most part.
Well, you're in a weird position where if you were to say something remotely controversial, like if you were to just to say, I don't like this rapper, you're going to have many thousands of kids who have a real strong opinion about you not liking that one rapper.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I actually used to stream a lot. My YouTube channel actually kind of grew a lot off of my Twitch stream back when Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was out. And, when you're streaming for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, you have a lot of conversations. So like, it's not like people don't know a lot about me. I just tend to, stay a little bit more private about certain things, just because I don't want to spark any arguments in like the comments of my YouTube videos. I saw PewDiePie do a video about like fake positivity on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Which I have a lot of respect for a lot of things that PewDiePie has done and everything that he says. Like he's really, really smart guy. But for me, like I don't think that I like fake positivity, but I like to make sure that my comments on my YouTube channel stay positive, just because like that's what I like to come and see on my channel. Like I don't want it to be like this place of chaos where like everybody's like keyboard warriors yelling at each other and there's like controversy in my stuff. Like I just like to have my YouTube videos be like a cool place on the internet where you're kicking back and you come to my channel every single day and I have some dope for you to watch. And I just like to keep it positive.
Do you feel like that? What do you feel like your fans want from you when they go watch a Nadeshot vlog? Like what is it? Who is the average fan? What do they want?
Yeah, see, I used to obsess over that, but as I've gotten older, and I mean, I've been doing YouTube since 2010, and for me, I used to have like the audience dictate what I did very heavily because I was just very self-conscious about myself and what I was doing, and I wanted to make sure that everybody was happy. But I found out quickly that you can't please everybody. So my whole mindset nowadays, when I make a YouTube video, it's like if I'm interested in it and I'm motivated to talk about it and show people it, then there's a good chance that a majority of the people on my channel are going to enjoy it too.
Right.
And that's been my mindset because like, I mean, I'm sure you understand as a YouTuber, like you can understand this really well. Some days you just wake up and you're like, what the hell am I going to do today on YouTube? Right. Like you just have no idea. And I think that's where vlogs have played a really big part of like my sanity because like
it lets you just be yourself.
Yeah, I started with gaming videos, but for me, like nowadays, I don't know if it's because Call of Duty died out or what it is, but I have to be, like, H1Z1 is a game that I really enjoy playing right now, current game. But there's not a lot of video games where I'm like motivated to get off the couch and turn off Netflix to go play a video game. It's just not my personality anymore.
Right.
So like I haven't uploaded my gaming channel in like a month and a half.
I noticed that. Yeah.
But like vlogging for me has been like a natural like obsession because I get to give my own spin on my life and try to make it more artistic and cinematic. And when I upload, I have to be really, really proud of it and sit there. And if I enjoy watching it over and over, I'm like, all right, this is going to be a banger upload. So
and it's kind of liberating for you to realize that, like, you know, my fans like me enough that they're willing to see me sit around with my girlfriend and eat pizza.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, no, that was a big moment for me when I started making real life videos a couple years ago because I never knew if people were going to like it or not because
they only like me for my video game gun shooting or
hey man, more than you know, nail on the head. Right. I was a lot of nights where I was just like, dude, I don't know like what my future is going to hold on YouTube and stuff. And so I just really kind of stuck to my guns on what I really enjoyed, and whether it's like talking about hip hop or sneakers or sports or anime or whatever it is, like I've just integrated it slowly into my videos, and people have kind of attached it. Like my channel now is doing better than it ever has.
Yeah, I was looking at your stats last night. You're definitely killing it.
Yeah, I mean, like of course, naturally everybody wants to do better, but right. I'm really happy with this is the first time in a long time where I've been like really happy and not stressing as much because, every day I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do today for YouTube? But sometimes, or most of the time, it just works out and people really enjoy the stuff that I'm uploading. So I'm really grateful for that, to have people that are actually interested in everything I do.
It's really strange because, you came in the game as a dude who was, a competitor. And when you're in that position, people want success from you, and then as soon as you don't have it, obviously we all know how people are with sports and everything. They love to shit on you as soon as you don't live up to their hype. But then it's weird because I'm looking at you and I'm like, what is he can't really give a shit about not being, a big competitor anymore because he's getting to live his life and make a good amount of money and showcase his life and have this great interaction with your fans. It's a beautiful thing, but do you feel like you're still being judged by your old standards that you used to judge yourself by, probably?
Yeah, I've definitely been, as I've gotten older, I talked about it earlier. I've been more critical about myself, but I feel like I've gotten better about understanding like my thoughts because, like some days are easier than others. Like for me, a lot of people used to see me as like the best Call of Duty player in the world. And that's just perception from like the outside world. I don't think I was the absolute best player. Some say certain games for me, like I was like top 10 in my opinion, other games not in the top 10. Like I wasn't ever like the best Call of Duty player in the world, but that's how like it was perceived from the outside looking in. So like it's a big standard to live up to. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm not doing that anymore, I feel like a lot of people definitely don't respect me as much, but then to play devil's advocate, like my channel has never done this well in terms of viewership, so right. I got to be doing something right. So like it sucks not to have that reputation anymore, someone who was really really great at something, but I really put that behind me in the last like year and a half. I've really kind of stopped stressing about it.
Right. It's change is a crazy thing once you're a YouTuber because people see you with a hobby or a girlfriend or a friend or something like that, and as soon as you start changing, it's like a big part of your audience doesn't want you to change.
Yeah, change is tough.
It's a strange thing. It's hard for them, because to you might get a new hobby and not even think twice about it. You're playing a new game. It doesn't matter. But to the audience who are used to watching you play a game for years or months, it's hard for them to switch over.
No, I think that's really cool. That's a cool thing that's kind of happened with YouTube. Like as like digital media has become more prevalent in the world, the fact that you have like someone like you who can just create brands out of thin air and like a podcast, and people really attach to it and are invested in it and watch it every single day and are genuinely curious about what you're up to every single day. Like I think that's incredible. But you're exactly right. Change is really tough when you're watching something like that. For me, like something I can relate it to, I just got really addicted to Dragon Ball Super. Like I watched Dragon Ball Z all day or growing up. Dragon Ball Super is on now. And I don't know if you know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
I've seen a few episodes.
They've got a character named Gohan, and in Dragon Ball Z, he like defeated like the toughest opponent they've ever had. And then immediately after that, like saga, like that time in the show, he's like the biggest pussy now. Like it doesn't make any sense. And so I'm sitting on the couch watching this show for like the last 5 days, just addicted to it. I'm like, why won't they make him strong again? He was the strongest, and now he sucks.
Right.
And like it's crazy how a TV show has me that invested. Like my blood is boiling. Like I'm like furious. Like please, like make Gohan powerful again. But it's the same thing. Like I know another YouTuber who hasn't had his like girlfriend in his vlogs for like a month, and everyone's just killing him for it.
Right.
And it's crazy. Like I think that's a really cool part about YouTube and how people get invested in your life, but it's also like a tough thing to balance too.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit to that time period where you were sort of on top of the world and you're really killing it in the video game scene. What was your lifestyle like then, and were you happy then in comparison to now?
So my lifestyle back then was just wake up, stream, make a video, go to bed, wake up, stream, make a video, go to bed. Like back when I lived in the Optic House in Chicago, I was waking up at like 9 a.m. every day. Me and this other guy named Scump, we would like race each other to start our streams because we knew whoever started first, whoever started first was going to get the most viewers for that day. Mm-hmm. And so like when you're working, like of course you want to be the best and you want to be at the top and you want everybody watching you. That's just how it was. So we were like natural competitors in that sense. So my day, every single day was really just wake up, stream, make a video, go to bed. Obviously in those 12 hours, you're like practicing with your team. You got 3 other people that you got to deal with. I'm not the easiest person to get along with, mm-hmm. and you have a lot of different conflicting personalities. So really, really stressful. I definitely say I'm happier now. That's for sure. I mean, it was a really cool lifestyle to be living in a house with like my best friends and just like traveling the world and getting paid. And I'll never forget those years because that was when I first started making money. I mean, before that, I worked at McDonald's for 4 years. I dropped out of college, so it was a really big risk. So like for an entire year, I wasn't making any money. Mm-hmm. And then when things finally, it's like someone snapped their finger and then all of a sudden the cash is flowing in.
Right.
And for me, like money was always a huge motivation. So like that, I'll never forget that. That was kind of like my come up. That's when I knew like, oh shit, like I might be able to do something with this.
Do you find yourself going back to that McDonald's mind state quite frequently and just thinking about like, this is where I came from. This theoretically I could go back to. This is what I overcame, was having to wash the floors.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely motivating. I remember a conversation that I had a while back with one of my friends where like, McDonald's me would have kicked my ass if I was, thinking about turning down this deal or turning down like this brand integration that I had to make a video for this type of money. I would have kicked my ass. But I think my biggest motivation, I don't mean to sound like cliche or like corny or anything. My biggest motivation is my dad because straight out of high school, he went into trade school and he's been working a manual labor job every single day, waking up at 4 a.m., coming home from work at like 2 or 3 o'clock, and then working a side job, because he put my older brother, my older sister, helped him go through college. Mm-hmm. Luckily, he didn't have to pay for any of my stuff. He's got a mortgage, and it's just his crazy life that he lived, just working his ass off. Like that's my motivation. So like I can make enough money to make his life easier. Yeah. Like Christmas, I handed him a check for $10,000. Right. And that's like just a fraction of what like I hope to do in like the next 5 years.
But what was his reaction to that? Because that's really you showing like that's your thank you and saying like you raised me to get to the point where I was able to make enough money that I could help you out in this way, and that must have felt like a big stepping stone for you as a man. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't want to take the money, obviously, and like before my mom passed away, I had never seen my dad cry in my entire life, and then my mom passed away, and there were some weird years there where like everybody in my family is like having really bad like anxiety and stress and depression. It's just a weird time, but this was like the last time since my mom passed away, like this was the first time I saw him like tears coming out of his eyes. So for me, like that really hit home, and that's something that's been like really motivating and resonated with me in like the last couple weeks since I got back from Chicago, just to keep working. And I know it's going to end up somewhere where I can help everybody in my family. You know what I'm saying? Like that just. It's cliche as hell, but everybody wants to help out their family. Right. Or, I mean, even if you aren't close to your family, you got somebody in your life you want to help out with. So if I have a lane and a place where I can make a lot of money and keep working at it, then I can help the people that are important in my life.
You got to stay on that grind and mind state because there's always going to be a part of you in your head that's like, I made this amount of money this month. I'm good. Like, I'm chilling. I have enough right now. I don't have to go hard next month.
It definitely happens, for sure.
Because once you feel comfortable, it can be kind of hard. When you're that kid at McDonald's playing video games in your spare time, it's easy to find that hunger because it's life or death, really. Like, in your head, it's like, I'm either going to do this and make it or I'm not. But once you feel a bit more established, that's why I really, really admire a lot of older people in Hollywood in the music business, because if you're 65 and you're still going,
like
grinding,
Robert De Niro, like doing 20 movies a year.
How do you find that desire when you have $100 million in the bank?
I don't know, man. That's a big struggle. Right. I think I have a lot of days like that where I'm just like, oh man, I don't have any ideas. I don't want to just put out some crappy video just to put it out.
Right.
But then you remember, like, all right, it's time to go to work because this is an opportunity that a lot of people would kill to have, and I need to take advantage of it. Are
you opposed to doing daily? Do you think you're not capable of doing daily consistently and well?
I've tried to do daily a few times. I've learned the errors of my ways, like making promises that I can't keep. Mm-hmm. So, like, I want to do daily. I'm thinking about hiring help, but the biggest problem with hiring somebody to help you out is that they don't have the personal style and taste that you have. So, like, I really worry that the things that I create won't be down to detail exactly how I would want them and see them. So that's the toughest thing for me. Like, I want to be a daily vlogger, but the fact of the matter is that my life isn't that insanely interesting, where I really think, like, a camera needs to be on this. And a lot of people tell me, like, I'd say 95% of my subscribers tell me, like, some content is better than no content. But I've said it a few times in this conversation, is like, I've become a really big critic of myself, where if it's not completely up to my standard, I have no desire or motivation to do it. So as much as I would love to do daily vlogs and videos and stuff like that, the process of which I edit my videos takes a really, really long time, and there's just so many different variables that make it tough for it to happen. So I don't want to say I'm going to be daily because I don't think I can make it happen.
Right, like you sitting on the couch watching Dragon Ball Z for a week, that can be tough to balance with being a daily vlogger. But I think that, as a human being, you need vegetation. You need time spent on the couch doing nothing to help let your brain heal. You know?
YouTube is this. It has a really weird dynamic because now that I don't have like a place to create content off of, like Call of Duty, like that was always easy for me because I was going to be doing it already. So it was easy to make videos off of it. Now my YouTube channel is bringing this camera with me and making sure that the people that are subscribed to my channel are interested in my life. Like that's how people come across my channel. That's how people watch it. That's how my channel grows. So it's like almost like creating something out of nothing, like thin air. Like, okay, what am I going to do today that's going to be interesting that people want to watch? And I brought up PewDiePie earlier. Like, he really understands YouTube and like the mindset and like everything about it, because I saw a tweet back in the day that I always laugh at. He's like, I'm going to start daily vlogging, 3 things that I need. And one of them was like forced activities. It's true. It's like you got to go out and do stuff that people are thinking it's going to be cool to watch. Right. And that's just... that's a tough thing. It's like, it's a weird balance of living my life and then making sure that I'm doing something that people will be interested in. So,
is it the kind of do you see it as the kind of thing that maybe you're not going to be able to, keep going with, or do you think there'll ever be a point where you don't want to be a YouTuber, or do you think at this point it's kind of in your blood?
I think it's one of those things that I just right now and with the content I'm making, like I genuinely enjoy doing it.
Right.
And that wasn't always the case my entire career on YouTube. So
what, with the Call of Duty stuff, you were kind of bored with that at a certain point?
It's like when you I've grown to have pretty thick skin, but like when you have like hundreds of thousands of kids judging your every move and telling you that you ain't shit and like you're worthless and you suck, like that, I mean, no matter how thick of Jesus Christ, no matter how thick of skin you have, it definitely eats away at you. And it's like when you know that you're not the problem and you know that you're doing the best that you can, and you got everybody giving you shit every single day and judging your every move and decision, I would just kind of over it. You know what I'm saying? Like the year that I quit, we won back-to-back MLG tournaments, which I had never done in my entire life. Prior to that, like a year before that, we won the X Games in Austin.
Right.
I think that was the first MLG event that I ever won. And
I wish I was a YouTuber then, because I was there, but I didn't understand how cool it would have been to go see that. Damn it.
That was a moment for me where I was just like, okay, I set out to do something that I really want to do, and so like. Yeah, I've had a lot of meetings this year because I had when I moved to LA, I got a new management team and they've been kind of like steering the ship for me in my career. And I keep going into these meetings with people that want to work with me, and they always ask me like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, fuck, I don't have an answer for you."
Right.
Like,
I'm a YouTuber, but that doesn't make sense to a lot of people.
Yeah, it doesn't. I've just been doing what I know and trying to think of new, creative, and innovative ways to make it more interesting so that more people want to watch and people enjoy my content. So it's like I don't see myself in the foreseeable future quitting YouTube. I love what I'm doing, and I haven't always. So I've been having a lot of fun with it.
I think it's just a critical thing for you to like find a way to be a consistent YouTuber, but to not lose your sanity. And I think it's good. I'm 33. You're, what are you, 26?
24.
24. Okay. I mean, we got a little bit of maturity, which I think is important because, for when I see these kids who blow up on YouTube and they're 18, I'm like,
yeah,
I feel for you because you are having your whole cerebral cortex fucked up by thinking, by that constant cycle of paying attention to how much feedback you get and everything. It could be tough for a young kid.
Oh, man, I can't even imagine.
It's like getting into like hard drugs when you're a kid.
Yeah, you know what? I saw a really cool Facebook clip, I think it was yesterday, where it's like, this whole world of social media, like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and likes and comments and favorites, it's like it releases like dopamine in your brain, and you like legitimately become addicted to having people share feedback on your life, and it's a really weird psychological thing that I think it's going to be studied, and people are going to really focus on it in the years to come. Like it's tough, man. It's like when you get a photo on Instagram for like an 18-year-old kid and like hundreds of thousands of kids are liking it, it's just like, okay, what am I doing next? It really is like comparable to hard drugs.
Because it's powerful enough for the average person posts an Instagram photo, they get 100 likes, and you can understand why it's really interesting for them to be looking through that. But then once you get to the point where you could literally sit there and refresh your YouTube comments, refresh your Instagram, refresh your Twitter, and never do anything else throughout your day, and constantly be being bombarded with positivity, or not always positivity, but for the most part it's good feedback.
It's just attention, and
it's just you can dump your day away doing that if you pay too much attention. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself being that's a big problem with me. Like I wake up, 9:30. I find I'm in bed until 11. Like, what the hell am I doing?
Right.
It's like I can't put it down. And it really is a problem.
Yeah.
Another funny tweet that I saw a couple weeks back is like some dude tweeted out that, okay, if you watch an entire TV show without checking your phone once, that's equivalent to reading a book now.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I really my fate. Actually, you know what? I cracked my phone screen one day, and I went to the 3rd Street Promenade Apple store to get it replaced, and they took my phone for an hour. I'm like, holy shit, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I've never had this experience. So I didn't have my phone for an hour. I swear to God, it was the best hour of my life.
And you know what you're going to do? You're going to go, if you're like at the mall for an hour with no phone, what are you going to do? You're probably going to go buy a book.
Yeah.
Or like something like that would have way more of a positive impact on your actual brain than paying closer attention to your Twitter.
Honestly, I found out after moving to LA that like every single mall is like an outdoor mall. So
True.
I literally,
Grove.
Shout out to the Grove, 3rd Street Promenade. I gave them my phone, walked out the front door. It's like I looked up at the sun because I'm really pale, and I was just like, holy shit, what do I do? Yeah. And then for the next hour, I had sunglasses on. I went to Starbucks, grabbed a very berry hibiscus, and just walked around. It was like the best hour of my life. I was like, nobody could text me. Nobody could contact me. I didn't have to worry about checking my Twitter mentions or anything like that. I just had nothing else occupying my mind. I just sat there baking in the sun. It was dope.
It is dope. Yeah, I went to Barcelona for a month a couple years ago, and my phone basically like didn't work besides when we were at the apartment. And it was just so cool because everything I needed to get done on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, I would be able to do it in those few hours at night before we went out to drink or go out to a party or something. I would be able to get it all done right there. And I just realized that there was almost no negative consequence for me not compulsively checking my Twitter a couple times an hour all day.
Yeah, that must have been an incredible month for you.
It's so good. It lets your brain heal. It's like sending your brain to the spa.
But now here comes like the double-edged sword is now that you are, I mean, you've been your own boss for a long time now, but now that No Jumper and On Some Shit is really growing and you got like a movement and like Rope Gang, like I see it on the back of your MacBook, you have like an obligation to yourself in your career now where you have to be on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, and there's no feeling yourself away from it.
What I try
like
to
there
do
really is no time off, bro.
I try to batch it. I try to do like a real deep dig, look at all the comments, look at Twitter and everything in the morning, like maybe while I eat breakfast, and then I try to not look at it that much all day, and then at night I'll do another dig, respond to people, tweet, whatever. I just try to keep that main stretch in the middle of the day open.
And I feel like this might be a lot harder for a lot of people that are watching this to understand, but they probably go through the same thing.
Right.
Like a lot of people, when somebody comments on a YouTube video first, right away when it gets uploaded, it's like that person is probably on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook just as much as like someone who creates on those social media platforms.
And it's hard for us to grasp how important that 10 minutes a day is for them, because they like that's a big deal for somebody who wants that motivation. Like I constantly just hear like, you motivate me to get stuff done every day. I'm sure you get this kind of stuff all the time, because to a 16-year-old kid that's kind of confused about life, he's looking at you. You got money. You got a nice life. You got a pretty girlfriend, and everything's going well for you. You're like, he wants that because you're the image of what he wants for himself a few years down the line. And that motivation, I feel like watching Casey Neistat every day for a few years really helped me to just work harder.
Yeah,
because I was motivated.
I think about Casey pretty often when I'm like really trying to get motivated to make a video, because I just don't understand how he found time to do everything that he did.
Right.
It really is like, I know like Casey, like the biggest YouTuber this year. I mean, it really is incredible. I mean, I don't get it. It's hard work, but watching these videos and just, I think expanding my horizons on who I watch and like seeing like their methods of madness and how they create has been really inspiring for me and motivating, because I've really tried to elevate what I do and the content that I create. And it's awesome that you have like a similar mindset. Oh, yeah. Like very ambitious. And I respect that a lot, because I think to really get what you want in life, you have to find your own lane. And obviously you need to be unique and you need to have great timing. But I mean, there's nothing that can replace like true grit and ambition to try to make something happen for yourself and your family. I think that's incredible.
That's why I have so much respect for you, because I've been doing this, but I'm older. You're super young, and to have this much success at such a young age, number one, I'm really proud of that accomplishment and everything. But number two, that shit scares me when I see young dudes going through crazy levels of success. You seem like you got a level head on your shoulder. You're not, out of control or anything. But for some people I see, it can be scary.
Yeah, I mean, I've just always been a thinker, and not in the terms of like what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like a precursor that I have to say that, like, I'm always a thinker, but not in the sense that I'm like super, super intelligent, but the fact that I stress easy and I have like a lot of anxiety. So like I think that's always been like something for me that's been like the fuel for the fire. Like it sucks having anxiety, but that's always what's kept me motivated and kept me doing what I'm doing. So I would say I'm pretty level headed, like not to like sit here and like, toot my own horn or anything, but that's something that I kind of like really am grateful for, like within my brain, that I'm pretty like well adjusted in my opinion.
Yeah. See, the thing is, dude, is like you worked at McDonald's, so you know what the other side of this is, and that's what I think is important. Like I used to be really fat, and I heard somebody say one time, they were like, not really fat, I was like 280, I'm like 220 right now, but I heard somebody say like, if you were ever fat and ugly, you'll never really be able to be that much of an asshole, because you'll always be able to relate to the fat, ugly kid and see some of yourself in them. And that's how I feel when I have like little fat kids come in and I'm their fucking hero or some shit. And I'm just thinking like, I am so honored that you give a fuck about me, because I relate to you more than like some pretty good looking kid who's got it made for him, No,
I love that, man. It's like you have a really good understanding of like the human mind and just not being a shitty person, because I think that's really underrated nowadays. It's like when you get older, you truly, like with more time that you have to think, you really get to understand like the shit that's irrelevant in life, and like judging other people. And I mean, like, yeah, it's really easy. Like some guy walking down the street bumps you on the shoulder, like, oh, this guy's a douchebag or something like that. But it's like, it's really important. Like as you get older, we talked about it earlier, to respect other people's opinions and understand that you never really know what somebody's going through, and just to stay in your own lane and worry about you. But like don't judge others. Don't treat people randomly like shit. Like it's just, it's important about being a mature person and just being like a respectful human being to like anybody else in this world, because they all want most likely the same thing that you want. Like everybody everybody wants things in life, but you just got to respect others and respect their judgments and their opinions and stuff.
Yeah, and I hate like people who become rich or successful, and then they just feel like that's a license to like be mean to the waiter at the restaurant.
No,
you know,
that's the worst, bro. Like I go in there, I tip heavy.
Yeah,
like, my parents taught me to use my manners and be kind to others, and that's something that I always appreciate because I think that's super, super, super important. Like money's great, don't get me wrong, it's awesome, but it's not like a license to have power over people.
Yeah.
That's the worst, bro.
Such a gross like tendency to see people go for that.
Dude,
Yeah,
nah,
my mom used to always say that. She goes, "You can know everything that you need to know about somebody from the way they treat their waiter."
Yeah, hey, that's a
totally
great
agree,
mindset.
yeah.
That is, I love that. That's
because you have nothing to gain from the waiter. They're not going to help you with your career. Not spitting in your food would be cool. That's nice, but just in general, like that's the person that you don't really. It's clear that in this situation they're serving you. So, but that doesn't give you any reason to be anything less than nice.
Yeah,
to
man. I just love treating other people that I like, strangers and people that I don't know, just like in a respectful way, because I just know that if I were doing the same thing as them or in the same situation as them, I'd want to be treated the same exact way. Like I'm not a religious dude, but like do unto others as you would want to be treated. You know what I'm saying?
That's a key piece of advice.
Fuck, dude, I read the Bible when like
do unto others as you would have done unto you.
Respect thy neighbor, like.
That's a good one too.
I don't know, dude. It's like a commandment or something.
Yeah.
The Catholic school for like 9 years, and look at what I can't even tell you what's in the Bible.
But so you seem like you sometimes have like a conflicting attitude on flexing on YouTube. With the cars and stuff. It's very obvious when you talk about it that you want to make sure that the audience knows that you haven't lost the plot, that even though you spend a bunch of money on a car and then a bunch of money on another car a couple weeks later, that you're not showing off, you're just showing them your life.
No, I think the idea of like materialistic things is like that's even like a deeper thought process. Like I don't know how like materialism works because like I want nice things, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was working at McDonald's making a minimum wage, like I always wanted to whip that Benz that the owner of the shop or the store had, like he was always, flaunting in my face and stuff.
What, the owner of the McDonald's had a Benz?
Yeah.
That's pretty fresh.
Yeah. No, I would love to go back and flex on him, don't get me wrong, because he was kind of a dickhead. Right. I used to tell stories about him. I don't know. That's kind of like an inner struggle that I've always had because I think the fact that I want to have nice things, it's like the one thing that I would tell younger kids is like, it's cool to aspire to make money because that's what like a big motivation for me was. But like once you get it, it's not everything that you had hoped for. It's kind of like disappointing because it's like, man, like I have this G-Wagon, it's really, really dope. But after you drive it for a week, it's kind of just like another car.
When you don't have a dream car anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do, but you have accomplished your first dream car, you need a new one.
Yeah, and from the outside looking in, like that perspective might seem really tough to understand, and I might seem ungrateful, but it's like, you get a nice watch, or you get a nice car, or you get a nice house. Like, it's really dope, and it's nice to have that luxury, but I'm telling you, man, it's really just, I mean, I had a 2004 Dodge Intrepid before I bought my first car after I won my big tournament, and it's like, I'm not comparing it in the same way, but I think everything really is perspective. Because, use money as motivation and do well and be successful, but it's not everything. It's not what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
When I wanted to be successful and make a lot of money, like that's the only thing I cared about. And then you get older, and then you just realize like it's more of just like a tool to get the other things that you want in life. Like I'm using it as a tool to help my family, not with everything, but I want to give a little help and a tool to make sure that my life is secure and stuff. I don't know, like being materialistic is like this really weird balance of me like being self-conscious when I was younger and wanted to have nice things so people know that I'm like I have a good reputation. I really can't explain it.
Because you come from a humble mind state where you just don't want people to think you're that kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it. Like I don't know how to explain it for it to make sense, but it makes sense in my head.
I also wanted to talk to you about this. I have a lot of struggles with growing up or coming up. It was much easier for me to respond to everybody or respond to a lot of people, to the fans and stuff. And as you get bigger and bigger, it just becomes more and more impossible when you're just getting a ridiculous number of comments. You got 20,000 comments on all your videos and stuff. Do you ever feel some sort of a struggle with that where you wish that you could have more of a one-on-one relationship with a lot of the people that look up to you?
I go on spurts in terms of like replying to people. I think we can even talk more back into the conversation that we had about like these younger kids and growing up on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and getting all these likes and stuff. Like sometimes it does feel like a drug. So it's like it's tough. Like you get a really nice tweet and it's like instead of replying back to the dude, you're just like, all right, then on to the next one. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And he might have sat there for 2 hours thinking about what he was going to tweet at you.
Yeah, exactly. So the one thing that I actually used to love doing was streaming. Like streaming was really cool because it was like a live, like interactive way to kind of have discussions with the people that support you.
And with the most hardcore ones,
yeah,
too.
The most hardcore. And they'd be like talking about stuff in the chat and you can divulge in what you're doing and have a conversation with them. Like I used to love that aspect of streaming. That's one thing that I do miss. But it's just like been harder to do now that I'm like spending more time on my YouTube videos. So I think it's cool that you have like this podcast to have like a way of like addressing things and talking to other people and getting other people's perspectives. Like you get to have these real conversations like pretty often. But that's something I wish I could do more, but it's just a tough aspect about it that I just don't have enough time to respond to everybody.
What is it about streaming though? That used to be a huge part of your life and now it's kind of fallen into the background. What is it specifically that sort of led you away from that?
I think just the lack of interest in video games. It's really hard for me to find a video game nowadays where I can sit there for like 5, 6, 7 hours a day and really enjoy. I've really fallen in love with the process of being more creative with YouTube videos and being able to put my own spin on it and just have style. And that's something that I've really fallen in love with. So like streaming is more of just like using a video game as a platform to be someone and a personality.
Right.
And I just don't have that love for video games that I once had, unfortunately.
You have a hard time doing something unless you're passionate about it?
Yeah, really tough. And that's why like some days on my YouTube channel I won't upload it, or some days I'll go like 3 or 4 days. Like if I'm not like super passionate about it and excited to do something, then it's really tough for me to like bullshit my way through it and upload something.
Is it tough for you sometimes to just be putting so much of your life out there? Like dealing with like I noticed that like your girl has a shitload of followers and like everybody you hang out with seems like they just get this huge like influx of communication and stuff. Does it ever feel weird to you that your whole life has sort of been taken over by this and that everybody who's around you is sort of sucked into it?
No, not really, not as much. Like I just kind of feel like me, like I'm just Matthew Haig. And
You've
that's
been doing this for a long time.
That's just how I've always felt. I think the one situation I don't like stirring the pot and I don't like drama. I mean, like when I was younger, it would happen and it would be like kind of cool. But like nowadays, like I said, just getting more mature and more time to think. I hate drama and just having conflict with others. And a situation like me talking about my G-Wagon rap, it was a huge problem last night. I was kind of stressing about it because I didn't like name the guy or the shop that I went to. And then all of a sudden, like everybody found out what shop I went to and we're like going to this guy's Yelp page and their Instagram page.
Those are fans right there.
Yeah, like hardcore, man.
That's hardcore
like
to find out.
And I was just like, damn it, bro. Like
if you wanted him to hate, if you wanted to hate on his Yelp page, you could have said it.
Yeah,
like obviously you didn't want that.
I'm not trying to ruin this guy's business or anything or how this guy operates because I don't know like what he had to do to get to a point where he could have his own business. Like that wasn't my goal. That's why I didn't talk about the shop and I didn't talk about the guy personally. But I think that's like another issue. It's like as soon as I share that with a lot of people, it becomes like their life now, and they're invested in it. So the balance for me has never really been tough. Like everyone around me, I think it's important to keep like good company around you, like people that have a good understanding of what's important to you and have like similar morals and values, so that like you just feel comfortable around each other. I think being well adjusted and like the thing that I love the most about my friends is that they're really well adjusted and they really understand and have a good perception of like the world around them, and they're not just like shitty people.
Right.
And I think that's important. Like good hearted, like Jenna and Justine are like the two people that I hang out with the most, and just like honestly, just the most genuine and like kind-hearted people that you'll meet.
Right.
And it's hard to explain it to someone if they don't have those types of people around them. But it's just like really just like caring and nurturing and just really just great human beings. And that's something that I think has really helped me become a better person since I moved out to LA.
For a second, I thought Justine was getting real serious, screaming on you about the pizza the other day. I was starting to think, like, is she really mad?
No, that's just Justine. It's just like I don't like. I've been hanging out with them so much for like a year and a half. Like one thing that I always say is like I've never seen Jenna cry.
Okay.
And you know, there's always like this stigmatism or like this stigma with girls is that they're crazy emotional. Like I don't know what that means or what that says about like the people that are around me, but they're just so well adjusted and just have such a grip on their life and their personality that it's just you don't ever have to deal with like crazy bullshit.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I don't know how important that is to you. Or
simplifying your life is important.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't, the level of work that you have to put in just to maintain your YouTube career, you really can't afford the girlfriend who's going to be freaking out on you every other night and sucking up all your time.
Yeah. Well,
I would think.
I've never said that we're dating.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not officially dating. Just friends?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a gray area.
Here I am just assuming.
Yeah, making a big assumption there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. You're a more complicated guy than I knew. I thought that was just straight up, maybe we'll just drop it right there.
You could ask all the questions you want.
Wait, so how does that work? You're not in an official relationship? It certainly seems like it on camera a lot of
No,
time.
I just I think it's been more of something that we've tried to like keep more private. Like, I mean, it's just like YouTube. Have you ever seen YouTube in relationships?
Oh yeah, you don't want to be prank versus prank.
No, it's insane.
Yeah.
So like we don't like nobody know. It's like something that we've always just kept private and like are we dating or not? Not in like a petty like entertainment way. Like what's going on with them or are they dating or anything like that? We just don't talk about it,
right?
Because it just will cause more problems in the future. Like,
right.
So one day, like Jenna and Justine aren't in my videos anymore.
Right.
Like, what happened?
You just set those expectations, and people get mad when you don't follow through. Yeah, for the first time ever over the past couple of months, I've been like consistently hanging out with a girl in YouTube videos, and it occasionally just crosses my mind like, if one day she's not in the videos anymore, this is going to be really weird. Like, these kids are not going to know what to think.
It's going to be really tough, and that's kind of like a situation because. The biggest thing that I've said is that Jenna and Justine have been doing YouTube for like close to 10 years, and I've only been on YouTube for like 7 years. So they've been doing this and been like just a part of the grind for a long time. So like I don't want ever there to be a situation where like if we're like not hanging out anymore or something happens where we're just magically not friends, like I want them to like live the life that they were already living and not have like my fans just like pick sides. What similar situation with like a lot of these YouTube relationships. Like it's just crazy.
Imagine Jenna's Yelp review if you guys stop hanging out.
Yeah, right. Holy shit, dude. And it's just like that's just like one thing. And just even more a testament to like how I like truly feel about like her as a person. It's just like if for whatever reason, like I said, if we weren't, I just would want like success for her. Like I can't say the same with like a lot of people that I just am not like I don't really fuck with anymore. Like if for whatever reason like she hated my guts one day, like I just would want her to be successful because she's just such a good person.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it sounds corny and cliche, and like a lot of the internet might. Bag on that, but that's just this real shit.
Oh, that's good. I have some fan questions here that I wrote down. Number one, are you optimistic about the future of esports?
Esports is tough, man. Esports is a tough situation because I think it really just comes down to personal passion because I used to be super, super passionate about esports. But just then as things progressed and I just became less interested in video games, it just became less of a focus for me. But I think you really need to look at statistics. Like my friend Fwiz, who works he's like the head of gaming at Google. Like he's a good person to talk to. Like about like statistically speaking, like year over year, esports isn't growing as much as it used to, but I still am optimistic for it. I think a lot of these big franchises like the Golden State Warriors, the Milwaukee Bucks, and all these big traditional sports franchises are just placing their bets. Like they're buying up teams and they're buying up equity just in case because they have like stupid money that they can spend on that kind of thing. But it also makes it tough for like it's just business, like small businesses. Like I started 100 Thieves, which was originally supposed to be an apparel brand, and then I had an opportunity to pick up a Call of Duty team, and I thought that was going to be a good transition into other esports titles. I had a lot of support, like I had like investors lined up, and everything was good. And then I just realized like, oh shit, like I'm not as passionate about this as I once thought I was, and like there's a really big barrier of entry into esports. If you got like the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, spending like a couple $1 million on a team. you need like to have a really good infrastructure and a solid group of investors to
that's
even
a full-time job for you all of a sudden, right?
Exactly. And I'm really enjoying YouTube right now. So like I have a dude that I'm working on with 100 Thieves, and my management team is helping me out with it, but it's going to be like a slow progression. It's not going to be like, we grab like $10 million and buy an Overwatch, a CSGO, a League of Legends, Call of Duty, Gears of War, Halo teams. Like it's not going to be that. But eventually we want to be there, but it's not going to be like all of a sudden like one night and we have everything we wanted.
Do you wish that you had just stayed focused on just having that be your apparel brand rather than trying to dip your toe into doing all this other stuff? Because presumably you could sell a ton of shit just on the fact that, hey, I'm Nadeshot, this is my YouTube channel, buy my merch.
Yeah, it happened really quickly. I wouldn't say I regret it, but I regret the fact that I don't have something for everybody who's really, really interested in investing in it. Because like when I announced 100 Thieves, we had like 100,000 Twitter followers in like 48 hours. Yeah, so it was like this crazy big movement, and the one thing that I just regret is the fact that it wasn't everything that everybody wanted it to be when I announced it. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of, I didn't really see it as a thing that it like hurt my reputation within the gaming community, but I think others might perceive it that way. But it like on just like the realist sense of like the phrase, like it's not what I intended, and it doesn't really bother me. But it sucks for the people and the fans that really wanted it to be something. But it's going to happen just slowly over time.
That's dope. Okay, next fan question. This is a fan question because I don't know shit about this, but how do you feel about FaZe Rain being a better quick scoper? I'm not capable of judging your skills at this, but how do you feel about someone leaving a comment like that?
FaZe Rain is sick at COD. He's a great quick scoper.
Okay.
I like Norden. He's good. He's really good at shit, like Call of Duty.
So that doesn't hurt your feelings when a fan asks that? He's probably trying to trigger you.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
Next comment from a fan, are you Mormon?
No.
Is there any sort of precedent for that they might think that you were Mormon?
I don't even know what Mormon entails. Like the only thing that I know about being a Mormon, and this might be completely wrong, is that you have like multiple wives.
I think that's less popular than it used to be, but that was a component, the polygamy thing.
I stay away from religion completely. Like, I grew up Catholic, but I'm just not a religious person. I respect everybody's beliefs. Like, like I had a lot of Muslim friends. So when I was growing up, so I was
I could see you as a Muslim. That'd be a good look.
Yeah, yeah.
A new look for the channel.
It's just like I respect every, like Islam and Christianity and Mormon. What is it? Mormonism?
Mormonism is a strain
Mormonism,
of Christianity.
whatever it may be. Like you're allowed to believe in whatever you want to believe. That does not have any bearing on my life. So, no, I'm not Mormon though.
Okay, well, that's good to get that out of the way. Next fan question: how many e-girls throw themselves at pro gamers? Is that a common thing?
I think that's a weird phenomena where, like, I think everybody wants attention. And there's just, guys and girls go together. It's just how it's always been. So girls naturally want to, I'm really trying to choose my words wisely here. Like there are definitely girls within the community that are friends with pro players.
Right.
It's just a weird dynamic. I guess when you have internet fame to a certain level, like you never really know with the people in your life what their intentions are. Mm-hmm. So there are great girls and there are great guys within the community, and then there are really shitty girls and really shitty guys in the community. It just really depends on this situation. I don't think there's anything specifically I can talk on. I'm not dodging the question. It's just it's not my judgment to make.
You can't blame a girl for being attracted to somebody like John Scarce.
Yeah.
It's just, he's out there killing in the community.
I completely agree. The flannel shirts, man, they're killer. I bought a flannel myself.
Just to pull, do you think about Scarce when you buy a flannel shirt?
No, I think flannel shirts are dope. You wear it with a white t-shirt unbuttoned, roll your sleeves up, you're looking fresh.
But I've been wearing flannel shirts here and there my whole life. And the other day I was in the store buying jeans and I just saw the rack of flannel shirts and I just thought, Scarce. That is literally the first thing that came to mind when I saw that rack.
I fuck with Scarce. I like Scarce.
I just think he's such a good-hearted kid,
Yeah, I honestly I don't really have beef with a lot of people on YouTube. Everyone's carving their own lane, and I respect it, man. It's dope.
Yeah, a bunch of people wanted me to ask you what you thought of Zoe Berger.
I have nothing but good things. I've never had a bad interaction with her. I respect the fact that she found a way to get people to follow her and what she's doing. Like, I can never hate on somebody for trying to make money, unless they're like killing somebody or like,
Right.
or like.
We could definitely hate on assassins.
Yeah, we can
Real
hate
life
on
assassins.
real life assassins for sure, and like war criminals and shit. But I don't.
Saddam Hussein.
Like,
I don't fuck with
I don't
you.
have a problem. Like, what she's doing has no bearing on my life. So like, do your thing. I don't care.
I love her too. I hate the whole thing of like, oh, you're showing your body, blah blah blah. Who gives a fuck? She's got a hot body.
Yeah,
Show it off.
yeah. Do whatever you want to do. Like,
No.
what do I care?
Right.
I think people, like I said, it's just judgmental.
Right.
I'm not judgmental.
Totally. A bunch of people wanted to know what you thought of like a few of the other top YouTubers. Like, what do you think of Keemstar? They wanted to know.
I like Keemstar, very ambitious guy who had a channel, Drama Alert, which some people have this opinion about Keemstar and that opinion, but he's had his channel shut down like 3 or 4 times, and this dude comes back every single time and supports for his family and does his own thing. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's tougher like when you share your opinion with a lot of people because it's open to judgment and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't watch Drama Alert as much as I used to because, like, I just try to stay away from negativity. And it must be even hard for him who's, when you have so many people just every single day in your mentions and just observing everything that you do. I think it's tough. So the fact that he's had, like, the mental solitude? No.
Stamina.
The mental stamina.
That's
yeah.
a Trump word too. Stamina.
Yeah,
She doesn't
mental
have the stamina.
I like Keemstar. I mean, I've never ever personally had a problem with him, so like I have no reason to hate him.
Yeah, there's been times there I thought he handled things like an asshole, but I can't deny that I just find him consistently extremely entertaining.
Yeah.
I see him pop up in the sub box. I'm clicking.
Dude, you have like the YouTube market, and there was a demand for news about all these other YouTubers, and he made it happen. So, I mean, that's just good business.
Totally. When there's a PewDiePie scandal and you don't feel like watching a 15-minute PewDiePie video to figure out what the scandal is, I appreciate Keemstar explaining it to me in 45 seconds, you know?
YouTube news.
you
I
go.
mean, it is what it is.
It had to happen.
I mean, Philly D does a great job of it too. But yeah, I as a person, I don't have anything negative to say about Keemstar.
For him and Scarce, though, I feel like I want to see less stories about someone like showing their nipple on stream or saying the N-word on stream. I feel like that's almost every video. There's someone saying the N-word on stream now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch those channels as much as I used to, so I don't really know what like their content line is.
You know what I really was? I was actually already subscribed before this, but I got really hooked on watching videos when I was watching you discover Pokemon Go for a little bit.
Yeah,
That was a fun
dude.
era.
Man,
That was you temporarily getting hardcore back into the game.
I
again,
value
too.
those 2 weeks so much. It was magical.
only 2 weeks.
It was 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
It was magical. I'll never forget
fun,
it.
right?
I had a
Yes.
blast. It was like the most I ever went outside in like a couple years. I was out walking, catching rare Pokemon. It was dope. Like we were outdoors at night with like flashlight. It was incredible. I
That
miss
was
it.
the best like gaming experience I've had.
They really
as
shit
an
the bed.
adult. Yeah.
The last time the day I stopped playing it was the day that the first time they ever changed the nest. Because
Right.
I was so close to getting Dragonite.
I rewatched that one last night where you were getting all the Dratinis.
I was so close to getting a Dragonite, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to go back at like 9 a.m. the next day and finish it off. And then I woke up and checked the radar, and there was nothing there. And then that's when I found out on like the Sylph Road on Reddit that the nest changed. So like that was the last day I played.
Yeah, you have to be a real scientist to keep track of what nests are what at any given time. I think they change it every 2 weeks.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know anything about the game now.
Yeah, it's. I feel like
Are you
after
still playing?
I look at it and I look at it once in a while just to see if there's anything on the map when I'm really bored. I just did that trainer tips interview and I felt like getting to have a really, really good conversation with him. I felt like that was a good ending point for me with the game. But that being said, Generation 2 is supposed to come out soon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop myself from going out and getting some shit.
That's totally okay. I don't really know Generation 2 Pokemon as well. Like I played Gold and Silver growing up, but I just don't follow it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That was my first introduction to the whole franchise.
Bro, you got me sweating in here.
Oh, is it hot? It's because I couldn't turn the AC down.
No,
but
it's all right.
We're
It's
almost
all
at the end too. We're already past the hour mark.
Really, that went by quick, man.
Yeah,
It was a good
fun,
conversation. Right? Hey, I gotta say, you really keep the conversation going.
I appreciate that.
You need to be able to do that as a podcast host. I'd be kind of nervous being a host,
Right.
But I think as soon as you get the hang of it, you've done so many. How many interviews do you think you've done?
I think for No Jumper, I've done about 140, and then if you include the BMX side of things, it's probably well over 200.
What's the favorite interview that you ever did?
Well, Andy Milanakis was pretty damn fun. That was
Yeah?
a good one. There's this girl, Yes Jules. She's like a hip hop promoter type thing, and she was really cool. Actually, it's weird because when I was thinking about doing this interview, it's kind of weird because I'm not like a hardcore gamer at this point in my life, even though I'm trying to get more familiar. But when I did, some of my best ones were with EDM DJs, which I don't listen to EDM, but the Getter interview, Dylan Francis and Borgor, they're all
That's dope, man.
funny and interesting. We just had really good chemistry, and that gave me a lot of confidence to be like, damn, I can do good interviews with people even that are outside of my typical world. You know, that's
dope.
really really cool. I like that.
You've really been expanding on all horizons in terms of who you're interviewing, so I think that's great.
I appreciate it. That means a lot coming from you. Let's finish this off talking about hip hop a little bit.
All right, let's do it. You do not have to do that. I would just letting you know if I start smelling like shit, that's why.
If you start smelling like shit, I will not complain. I will accept your body odor, Nade.
I appreciate that a lot.
When did you start to realize I really am a big hip hop fan, and this is something that I'm interested in besides just hearing stuff on the radio?
Like in high school, like I said, when I discovered Dat Piff and just started downloading mixtapes and listening to like up and coming rappers, like that was it for me. I mean, like MTV Jams was my shit growing up. I would just sit there in like my house with my brother, just watching rap videos, like Paul Wall and all these other rappers, like when Rick Ross was first coming up, and anything that was hot back then, like that's what I watched. It just for me, like it was in high school with Dat Piff, like just finding new stuff every single day was incredible.
Yeah, that was a really good era. I think it's pretty crazy that you've gotten the chance to meet some of your idols. Like you've been hanging out with Logic and stuff. How did that meeting happen?
I met Logic through FaZe Temper, and Temper and FaZe Clan have a really good relationship with Logic, and I think it was just like this natural introduction, and he had me come over to his house, listen to his first album, and that was really, really cool experience. Like Schoolboy Q follows me on Twitter, and we were DMing back and forth. I fucking love Schoolboy Q.
Really?
His new album was dope. It's been like a really wild ride getting to like meet people that I'm genuinely fans of and kind of like fuck with me because of what I've done in my own lane. So it's really cool.
That must be dope. Anybody else that you got to meet that was really exciting for you?
When I met Ryan Reynolds, we did a Deadpool interview. That was dope. He stayed in character the whole time, and I was like super nervous. And to be honest with you, I don't think I was asking like questions that he expected. So it was media day for like Deadpool. So he's probably doing all these shitty interviews, and I came in there asking about like Blade 3.
How'd you get set up with that? Was that for your channel?
It was for my channel. It was actually from a woman. Her name, or a woman that I met through Jenna and Justine, who's just like, I've only known her for a year and a half, and she increasingly just becomes like a better person as like the days go on. It's really insane. And she got me into this interview with Ryan Reynolds for my channel, and strictly for my channel. I don't know how she did it.
Yeah,
she just knows people and gets shit done. And it was really cool.
It's pretty amazing. I seen that video with Jesse Wellens doing like a little meeting with Kevin Hart the other day for his channel. Yeah. I was like, that is so fucking cool.
A lot of the UK gaming YouTubers like KSI and Vicstar, all these dudes in the Sidemen, they do interviews for big promotions with like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and Kevin Hart, and like really big movies. It's so cool.
That's very encouraging for like the future of YouTube, that as a YouTuber, if you've got 1 million subs or whatever, that you now have the power and the audience that you could maybe go do something with people that are huge stars.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really kind of exciting.
I'm going to just set this up so I get a shot for the vlog.
Ooh, I'm beyond honored.
Top 3 rappers, I want to know.
Me?
Or give me what do you... I hate that question because I think it's a very time-oriented thing.
Okay, I'm going to kind of go all time. Favorite rappers of all time. I grew up on 50 Cent and Jay-Z to the point where I don't know if I can put anyone else above them.
50 Cent and Jay-Z?
50 Cent and Jay-Z. Jay-Z like taught me what it was to love a rapper by just like studying his catalog in such insane depth, and also Nas during that time period as well.
I respect that a lot.
I feel like Jay-Z has a more consistent catalog than Nas, so that was always kind of my thing.
I never got into. I've watched like documentaries about like the beef between like Jay-Z and Nas coming up and stuff.
And actually, that was what really made me take Jay-Z seriously, was when he came for Nas's neck, and that made me just go through his whole catalog and really absorb it.
Yeah. How do you feel about the fact that like 50 Cent, like early 2050 Cent was like just like the hype around him was crazy, and then nowadays, because I think, bro, I follow 50 Cent on Instagram, on Twitter. I think he's hilarious.
Oh, he's so funny.
And you know,
now he's like a fight promoter. He's a social media psycho.
He's had a couple songs come out that have been pretty good, but like you haven't seen any projects like.
It's so hard to maintain your relevance as a rapper, like well into your 30s. Like it's just like BMX, gaming, whatever, where you're in the spotlight for such an intense period of time, and somebody like Jay-Z who's able to change and maneuver over the years, that's just such a rare tactic. So for me, like when I say 50 Cent's one of my favorite of all time, I think about his era. The same way that I could say, I loved Fedor because I'm like an MMA fan, and then when Fedor eventually became the guy that got knocked out 4 times in a row, it's like, okay, well, that's, everybody has the end to their career where they're the best in the world. That's fine,
I'm waiting to see what Eminem, like he's coming out with a new project. I think he was talking about. He came out with that one song a couple weeks ago. I don't remember what it was. I would love to see Eminem, for whatever reason, just come and do like the most ignorant like trap banger, because like I know he could do it.
Yeah, but he would do it in like a weird sarcastic way, like that one Hobson song where he's not even saying words.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny. No, I gotta give it to Hobson.
That was pretty funny, for sure. You know who I've been really vibing with? Joey Badass. He's got like this like an early. I don't want to say something and say sound stupid, but when I listen to his music, I just like hear like old school hip hop.
Oh yeah. He 100% tries to kind of, well, not that he tries, but he kind of epitomizes that old school New York style. When he first came out, I actually thought it was like a little derivative. Like I felt like I was listening to somebody do like a Nas impersonation. But at this point, like I've really given his shit more of a chance, and I think he's come into his own in a big way over the past couple of years.
I'm gonna say one artist who I fell in love with in high school, that I think has progressed more than like any rapper that I've like whose career that I've followed. Mac Miller.
Really? Yeah.
He has come out with so many like introspective like projects, like from what he was doing like frat rap when he first like came up,
right?
And now like with his last 3 albums have just like they've just been incredible. Right. I don't know if you've given a lot of time to Eminem or to Mac Miller, but it's been really dope.
He's somebody I've always wanted to spend more time with, just because I'm kind of amazed by the level that he's been able to take his fan base to.
Yeah.
Him and Childish Gambino are people that I really want to do the deep dive in and just really study their catalogs, because I've heard so many people rant and rave about him lately, and I just want to really understand.
Childish Gambino, when he did like Royalty, and then I think it was called Camp. Childish Gambino has a lot of really good projects. I just want to see him do one more like pure hip hop project, because he came out with this new like EP, and it just wasn't my thing, and I didn't really like rock with it. But I mean, he's obviously in a different place in his own head. With
Have you watched Atlanta?
I haven't watched Atlanta yet, but I want to so badly.
I mean,
it won the Golden Globe.
Yeah.
And I remember before the show even started, I saw billboards, because I love Childish Gambino and Donald Glover.
Right.
Like even like with small cameos that he had in The Martian, like stuff like he's such a talented dude. Like I gotta watch it.
Yeah, it is. Like I had just kind of always just not really paid attention to his music, but that show just completely just made me feel like this guy's a fucking genius. There's no question about it. And also, as long as we're talking top 3 rappers, I just want to say Gucci Mane has to be my number 3, because of the sheer amount of time I've spent listening to him, and also just his influence on the game in general, his ability to maintain and still be relevant. I just love Gucci so much.
Yeah, dude, Gucci. I follow him on Snapchat, and I've seen these memes of him like in like a suburban area, like with like his
road bike.
The road bike with the jumpsuit on with his fiance. I don't think I really like Gucci Mane, and I used to listen to him. Like he would come up a lot on MTV Jams, but like he used to come out with. I mean, he was coming out with mixtapes in jail. I don't even know how that's possible.
He just had so many songs saved up when he got locked up.
I just can't. I don't think I can like sit down and listen to Gucci like on a consistent basis. Like it's not something that has like the replayability for me. But I like Gucci Mane's music when he comes out with it.
So you love Logic? Do you find yourself really drawn towards guys that are like super technical lyricists?
No, I really like. See, I even so for me, it's like this is gonna cause controversy. I already know, but like the one rapper that I can always listen to on a consistent basis in all of his projects is Drake.
Oh, hell yeah, me
because
too. Yeah.
like you have like Nothing Was the Same and Take Care, and you just like every single different like genre of hip hop that you could think of, like he has a song about it and for it, and any mood that you're in. So like Drake has always been big for me.
I was pissed when Views came out because it was a little softer than what I was looking for at that moment, but I've gone back to it over the past like couple months, and just it is a great album. It just wasn't what I wanted at that time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't think Views was as bad as it got reviewed for, but I'm not really like hardcore into like technical lyricism and stuff like that. I really like what sounds good. Like I've been fucking with like the Uzi wave, the Uzi Vert. Cool. Yeah, like I actually used to when I remember when Future was first featured on a Drake track, I couldn't stand it. I was like, dude, this is the worst thing I've ever heard. And now like Future, like when I'm on the way here, like I was listening to like Future and DJ Esco, like Too Much Sauce. I'm like, damn, Future really. He's got so much like he's like Purple Rain, and he's put out so many like projects in such a short amount of time. Like I really rock with Future.
I'm glad to hear that. You like 21 Savage?
I listen to like No Heart and nice. and what he did with Drake. I haven't listened to like any individual projects. I don't even know of any that he's had.
He's great. The Savage Mode tape is just brutal.
Bro,
just
like
in your
I
face.
listen to 21 Savage. I really listen to anything that sounds good. Like lately, I've been going back. Like Tukey Knows 2 was like one of my favorite tracks off of Schoolboy's new project. I listen to that song like every single day. Yeah. Have you heard it?
Yeah. I listen to Schoolboy Q's most recent album, but I don't really pay attention to the
it's just
track
like
names.
Yeah, you get Schoolboy, like 21 Savage I have been listening to. You know who I'm waiting for to blow up? You should go check out his music if you haven't listened to it. It seems like a really cool guy. His name's Super Duper Kyle. He did that I Spy track with Lil Yachty.
Okay.
He's got some really he's a really diverse artist. Sounds really good. Like he can sing, he can rap. I really like that.
I'll definitely look into that.
But I haven't been paying attention to as like underground artists as much as I should.
Right.
But
busy guy.
Yeah.
It's a struggle for all of us.
But I really just I love like a lot of what hip hop is and the music that's being made right now.
That's dope. Hey, also I just want to say I fuck with your shoe collection hard. Before we wrap this up, I gotta say I watched that video last night and I wanted every pair almost, bro.
Yeah, see, it's like I got called a hype beast, which I totally understand because you're
kind of new to it.
Those are all hype shoes, but I told the story. There was like a pivotal moment in my life when I went into a Foot Locker when I was like 14, 15 years old, and I had an opportunity to buy. I don't know what series they were like. I know there's like the Jordan 3, 4, 5, like it's all numerical and stuff. I don't know enough about Jordans, but there was a point where I could have bought a pair of these Spizikes, and I just never did it because, like I said, I was like this 4-foot skinny pale kid, and like Jordans just like weren't fresh. Like I don't think I could have pulled off, so I just never started buying them.
They're so big.
Yeah,
that's why I like your shoe collection because they're very small and sleek. You know?
But it's just like Adidas, like their stock is like skyrocketed this year. Like it really is a hype shoe, but I genuinely like fuck with like design, and I think they're really on some shit. Like they really are.
That was good. I like that. Hey, I could see you as an Adidas brand ambassador, couldn't you?
Yeah, I see them. They're the head of marketing like follows me.
They know what's up.
Yeah, I think he would have reached out by now if they were trying to do some stuff. Oh. It's a cool name. Funny story is that my lawyer, who was helping me out like the last couple of years, I went into his office and I was wearing a pair of Yeezys, and he's like, one of my best friends growing up, we went to camp together. He actually works for Adidas. I'm thinking, okay, like what's his name? He's like John Wexler, and I'm like, no fucking way. John Wexler is the head of marketing, like the director of everything at Adidas, and that's the dude that I like followed like months back. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
What's up with the conversation? Let's get me in an email thread.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all good though.
Throw me in there.
I'll still be buying them anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, who's fresher, you or Rice Gum?
Rice Gum's got some steez now that he's got a little money in his pocket and buying some cool stuff. But that's the thing, like you don't need money to look good.
Right.
But like I like what Rice Gum's been doing, man. He's got to stay. He promised daily uploads and then kind of fell through. I sent him a text. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? You had something really good going. Let's go.
So what happened is that Rice Gum dissed Tanner Fox, the scooter kid that I'm friends with, who's like 4 million subs or whatever.
Yeah, I know
and
Tanner Fox.
So Tanner Fox hits me up and he's like, "Yo, Rice Gum's about to diss me. I'm coming to LA. Can we make a video together
Tanner
responding?"
Fox track was
Things went wrong along the way. I hope Rice Gum disses him again. Maybe we could do another version, but that did not go as well as it was supposed to. But then, so I'm in the video saying "fuck Rice Gum" and everything, but then I went and started watching his vlogs. Dude, he is a funny guy.
Yeah, he's got a good sense of humor.
He's so
man.
sarcastic and shit.
Yeah, it's funny because me and Rice Gum, we didn't have beef, but I was the biggest streamer on Twitch for Call of Duty, and then I signed this big contract and went to MLG, and then Rice Gum got kicked off of Twitch and went to MLG, and he was streaming on there. And so, Rice Gum used to bring on, porn stars and girls on there. He wouldn't ever stream video games. He'd bring on girls and, video chat them. And that would be, more entertaining than what I was doing. And I was like, all right, I'm the best Call of Duty player. Everybody used to watch me. Why is everybody going over to his stream? And so, naturally, just me being, immature, I was being, judgmental and hateful towards Rice Gum. And then he started carving out his own lane, and I don't want it to be a thing because a lot of people were giving me crap in the first couple months that Rice Gum was blown up, oh, you're just being cool with him because he's big now and this, that, and the other. But it was more of just a thing we've said it so many times, and I keep saying it, but I just have respect for people that really find their own way. So at first, I was hating on bringing on the girls and the porn stars and doing this, that, and the other. But I was he found out a way to entertain people better than I did. So that just means I need to work harder and be more creative. So it was more of just a motivating thing. And now him and we're cool. We were supposed to link up a couple times when I went to Vegas, and he's out in LA a lot. It just hasn't happened yet. But Rice Gum's a real chill dude. I think he's got a lot of fans. He gets a lot of unnecessary hate, but he found a way. He started this whole diss rapping thing on YouTube. It caught fire.
Genius when you really think about it.
Yeah, how is nobody doing that yet?
Because it's such a thing to make exposed videos about people, and a lot of times that shit really kind of turns me off. I've sort of done it before too, but it's just I really hate people becoming bad people to get more YouTube views, settling a fight publicly in a video that gets 1 million views versus giving somebody a phone call. The fact that is such a normal thing in the YouTube community is whack to me.
Yeah,
but
it's tough. But
he does it in such a funny way with the diss tracks that you can't get mad at it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's just people are attracted to conflict, and people are attracted to drama, and I think that's just something that the YouTube community needs to accept because I think all of YouTube in 2016 had a huge introspective moment. Why is all this negativity so popular? It's just because people, when you're in high school and there's a fight going on in the hallway, everyone's trying to see it. Everyone's trying to look. It's just
human nature.
It's human nature, exactly. And I think that's a tough pill to swallow for some people with YouTube. So you just got to find your own way to bring a little positivity to somebody's life. And I think that's depending on what you stand for and what you value, that's the most important thing.
Team Rice Gum. We're both on it, I guess. Yeah.
I fuck with Rice Gum, Keemstar, Zoe, do your thing.
Yeah. John Scarce, Flannel Gang.
John Scarce, the man. Do your I love it.
Anybody says one word about Scarce, I'm showing up outside your house with 100 dudes in flannels, and we're gonna have choppers on deck. So don't mention Scarce, man.
That's incredible.
Because he said he was talking about me in a video. And he goes, "This guy, no jumper, seems like a really nice guy," and I was just like, "Oh God, hell yeah."
Yeah, dude. Scarce
likes me. Nice.
I think John Scarce is the man. Anybody who makes YouTube videos, and I'm sure deep down every single person on this planet has something that's a cool aspect about them, or I don't know. I think you learn a lot just by having a one-on-one conversation with somebody, and then you should never really judge somebody until you're in the same room with them face to face and get to talk to them. Obviously there's exceptions to the rule.
Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, Adolf Hitler, Saddam Hussein, all these terrorists and warmongers, but it's just you just can't judge a book by the cover.
The truth.
I keep saying these super mainstream movie cliche lines, but it's so true. This shit really, I resonates with me. It really does.
That's beautiful. Man, I think that this has been a powerful hour and a half. I'm very, very, I think the people are going to love it. I think that the Flannel Gang's going to love it. All the hardcore Nadeshot fans are going to love it.
Yo, before we end though, can you explain Rope Gang in 10 seconds? Because I don't, ask Nadeshot if he's Rope Gang. What is it? Is it?
Right. So basically Rope Gang, one time I was doing this podcast with Dylan Francis and Getter and stuff, and Getter was saying that Dylan Francis had to get his entire couch removed because there was so much cum on it, which it was not true. He was just saying it was a
not
joke.
True.
It was not. Well, Dylan Francis said it wasn't true. I'm sure there was some, but not too much. So much that he had to get a new one. But Getter was just pantomiming, just being like, yeah, he's dumping out a whole jug of rope on his couch, like just going like this, and the mental image of him having like a giant.
Oh, is that is
just
rope like Urban Dictionary? Like,
yeah. That's where it came from.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's normal for you to not know that, but like that basically is just where it came from. And then people just started commenting, rope gang, rope gang, rope gang, and now I can't get rid of it, and it's always a little...
It's a sticker on your MacBook.
Yeah.
Did you sell that?
No, a kid sent that in. I thought that was pretty sick.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I need like a on some shit sticker.
Oh, I got you. Don't worry, bro. I'll hook you up hard.
It's been cool, man. We've been trying to do this for a minute, and I'm glad that we could finally make it happen.
I mean, I'm trying to just go hard on both sides because I'm like, I love YouTubers and I love talking about it and I love like hip hop, and those are just my two main categories that I want to go hard as fuck with. So, I mean, getting you on here, huge step for us.
We got to do this again. Let me ask you questions because I feel like we didn't get to get enough input from you. I want to know more about your story.
Run it on your channel. I'll help you out getting into the podcasting thing. That'll be fire.
Well, we'll see. I think I might leave the podcast and you think you've got it on lock. You transition to be the YouTube podcaster. I like it.
You know what? I want to go Yeezy shopping with you.
Yeah, we could do that.
I think that would be a fun one.
We'll hit like, see, that's the problem though. Is like Fairfax, you go to Flight Club and all these shops and they price gouge you, man.
Right.
I do everything online with this app called Goat.
Oh, really? Okay.
We should honestly like
go.
We should. Yeah, it's a resale app, and where the prices are actually like pretty like fair, like the best resale prices that you'll find.
You ever been around too?
I haven't been around too. Honestly, I haven't been to a lot of shops on Fairfax and stuff, and I've been trying to get into like fashion and streetwear. I don't know enough about like a lot of these brands, but I'm learning like slowly but surely. I just haven't had the time when I was younger, and now that I have more time and it's something I'm interested in. I'm trying to, up my steez a little bit.
I bought an $800 Supreme T-shirt.
Yeah, that's
just for the vlog.
Dope shit.
Really for the vlog, yeah.
Yeah, it had a flex. I go to a shop called All Saints a lot for a lot of like casual clothes. All Saints is great.
I seen that the dude plugging his rap career in the background the other day.
Funny money. That's my guy right there. I love that, bro. When you meet people that aren't afraid of a camera, like cool ass dude. You meet some cool people when you sit and you just bump into them and have a conversation.
I like that too. That you weren't too cocky to pull out the camera and be like, yeah, hop in the vlog, bro.
No, bro. That's one thing that I've like fallen in love with. It just like, if I used to be really like, my job at McDonald's really like brought me out of my shell to have the ability to talk to somebody and have a conversation.
Right.
Because back in the day, like I had really bad social anxiety. Like having a conversation with you or coming to meet you and just like, I have no idea who you are. I mean, I see your YouTube videos, but like that used to be terrifying to me.
Right.
And now I've just like found really love just sparking up a conversation. Like anybody. It could be anybody. You never know. Like,
speaking about the Barcelona thing with the no phone, that was actually how I decided I wanted to do podcasts, because a friend of a friend, this girl Michelle, she's a DJ. My phone wasn't working. We were just like out getting brunch, and I just ended up having like an hour and a half long conversation where I was just grilling her, just learning a shitload about her. Super interesting. Michelle Pesci, she's a DJ. And then it just started to click in my brain. I'm like, that was a really fun hour and a half right there, and I think I might be better at this than the average person. Maybe I should try this out.
Yeah, no, you definitely know how to carry a conversation, like, and that's super important.
I was nervous for this one.
No, dude, come on.
I wrote so many questions because I was like, I just don't want to get stuck.
We were gonna stumble our way through it no matter what.
Yeah, I barely looked at the questions.
No, you killed it, and that's the thing. It's just like, I'm going to look at the camera for this one. Like, learn how to talk to people. It's important. And mine was like a very slow process, just working at McDonald's. But now I could talk to anybody. Like, sometimes I just take Ubers just to like see what's up. Like
Uber is like a test interview.
I went to like Korean barbecue downtown LA in Koreatown, and on both trips, like I had like an Uber driver who came from Kenya, and we had like this incredible conversation about like like we stayed away from politics, but we were talking about just like getting an Uber at the airport. And the next guy was from like Soviet Union, Russia, and we talked all about cars. Like, it's like everybody has a story and something that they know a lot about, and everyone just wants to talk.
And it's so cool getting to have that conversation with the Uber driver, because a lot of times, like, their story is, it's not the kind of thing you would ever, do a podcast and some guy's talking about, driving an Uber to take care of his family. But I mean, that's like an insight into a lifestyle that is almost more interesting in a way, to find out about the sort of salt of the earth people, as opposed to the types of people who are making moves, being well known and stuff like that. You get to see like a different side of humanity.
Totally, man. I love that. I'm glad that you share the same appreciative, like, just like attitude towards just people's stories. I think that's something that's like truly underrated.
I appreciate that, man. All right, so Nadeshot, everybody, go subscribe to the channel. You got anything big that you want to plug here real quick? Or
just check out the vlogs for some smooth jazz and
smack some like buttons, guys.
All around good vibes. Nah, but yeah, subscribe to this dude. This is a cool guy.
I appreciate it, man. Slap some like buttons on this video. Slap a like button on Nadeshot's channel. Go through there, like 10 videos in a row.
That'd be great.
I really appreciate you coming on the show, man, and I just hope that everybody enjoys this conversation. I think it was very motivational.
When's this going up?
Tomorrow.
I very much look forward to it. I will be leaving a like and a comment, and we'll see.
Music to my ears.
Hit the tweet.
Thank you very much. And check out Nadeshot's vlog if you want to see some sexy, artsy shots of the cat as well.
I'm trying, bro. Money cat.
Money cat. Money gang. Thank you very much, Nade. Peace. Hour and a half. It went so smooth and easy.
How long does it go for you?
I usually just try to do at least an hour.
Oh, shit.
If it's an hour and a half to 2 hours.
We just kept talking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, perfect. Oh, he's still here, though.
If you don't fuck with me, you're a stupid, dumb idiot.
I'm ballin' like an athlete, but got no jumper. I'm ballin' like an athlete, but got no jumper.